Oxford United have spent the majority of their recent history between League One and League Two, but in the 1980s they experienced a rise that took them all the way to the top flight, and even saw them claim the only major honour of their entire history. This is a story of how Oxford United won the League Cup. The early 1980s nearly saw the end of Oxford United as they were facing bankruptcy and came within a whisker of forming a merger with Reading FC. This was called off after protests from fans of both clubs, and they looked for a new era after new owner Robert Maxwell took over the club. Joe Smith was the club's manager, and in the 83-84 season he guided them to promotion from the third division by winning the title. The next season he repeated the trick as Oxford won the second division to achieve promotion to the top flight for the first time in their history. However, the mood was soon soured when, following a pay dispute, Jim Smith left the club to join QPR. He was replaced by Chief Scout and Youth Development Officer Maurice Evans. It was a battle for Oxford in the league as they fought against relegation. John Aldridge would, however, net 31 goals in all competitions, and Oxford stayed up on the last day after they defeated Arsenal 3-0 at the Manor Ground. Their League Cup campaign, though, would be incredible. They entered the League Cup in the second round and defeated Northampton 4-1 over the course of 2 legs. They then defeated Newcastle 3-1 at home and faced holders Norwich City in the 4th round. In the Battle of the Yellows, the Oxes defeated the Canaries and won 3-1. They faced Portsmouth in the quarter-finals. For the third time in a row, Oxford won 3-1 and were in the semi-finals of the competition for the first time in their history. They faced Aston Villa, a side who only 4 years before had won the European Cup. A brace from John Aldridge sealed a 2-2 draw at Villa Park. In the return leg, Les Phillips and Jeremy Charles netted to seal a 2-1 victory, and Oxford United would have a grand day out at Wembley. Oxford would travel to Wembley on the 20th of April 1986, where they were reunited with Jim Smith by facing up against QPR. Smith's side were favourites, as Oxford were in the midst of a poor run of form. The game started fairly quietly, but in the 40th minute, Trevor Hebbard was played in on goal and cut inside before threading the ball between the QPR keeper Paul Barron and the near post to give Oxford the lead. Oxford held this advantage at half-time. In the 52nd minute, Hebbard was played in again, and this time he played the ball across for Ray Houghton, who fired in to make it 2-0. With only minutes remaining, Oxford endeavoured to put the cherry on top. John Aldridge had a shot from range, which was parried away by Paul Barron, but it fell into the path of Jeremy Charles, who tapped in to make it 3-0. Full time soon followed, and Oxford United had sealed their first ever major honour. A club experiencing their maiden top-flight season had reached heights that would have been beyond their wildest dreams only a few years before, when they did not have a penny to their name. Oxford climbed the Wembley steps, whilst Maurice Evans allowed a 72-year-old Ken Fish, who had been working at the club for 22 years as a trainer, to have his winner's medal. Malcolm Shotton lifted the trophy in the air, as thousands in yellow let out the cheer of their lives. Oxford's stay in the First Division was not long, as they were relegated in 1989 and have not returned since, even spending time outside the Football League. However, their victory in 1986 was a wonderful summit to the incredible climb their club experienced in the 1980s, and is an often overlooked moment in English football. It is a reminder of what the League Cup can be, another opportunity for clubs to make history and have their day in the sunlight at Wembley. And whatever happens to Oxford United in the future, the day they painted London yellow will never be taken away from them.